it's been a repeated practice, at least in the 2 branches that I've been in. And to me, having worked in management before, I'm sort of like, how can it be a good management principle to constantly reinvent the wheel by throwing out or brushing aside your experienced workers who've already gone through all that training and work and so on, to suddenly bring in new people or suddenly bring up new people and give them new assignments, basically rework what the others have already been doing, and give them the new assignments without them having any input or experience from the people who've already been doing that for years.
Right.
You know, to me, it's like a constant repetition of, you know, reinventing what you're doing, and to the point where the new people may not even know
Right.
that a practice has already been established to deal with
Yeah.
those processes.
So you're losing productivity, you're aggravating your talent, your skills there, and you're not utilizing your talent and your skilled workers to be grooming and bringing up the younger ones too. You're losing for three different reasons.
Okay. All right, well, we got some work then, obviously. And, let's start by getting a list of the departments where we really need to focus. And
Okay, we have utilities, we have
Well, that-
parks and rec, we have, it's basically all of them, just listen. No, I mean, I don't know.
Well, you said
politics.
you said it's not, but you did say utilities was fine in some issues, so some of utilities is fine and some is maybe not.
I know I think I said the Vector crew out east, I'm not sure, but I know when you get into force main, you've got water, you've got wastewater.
And some of the departments, so like, this is the other thing, so I'm having a hard time conceptually thinking about how in libraries, for instance, where the jobs are, well, indoors, more complex in terms of you might be shelving, you might be doing this, you might be doing this, you're not, everybody does a little bit of everything unless you get in the reference section or whatever, so how would we apply something there? I'm having trouble visualizing how that might happen, and I have no idea.
Well, there
so-
are different processes, there are also different branches, and people
Yeah,
get sent to different
yes.
branches.
Well, that's
and-
another thing, yeah.
And so, you know, it's kind of strange that there'd be a process established in one branch, and that's supposed to be the practice that everybody follows or is taught, or processing the same things, and then you go somewhere else.
Right, but,
And you actually, in my case, pretty much told to
yeah,
forget everything I was ever trained to do,
right.
and just do this.
But that is not a
Yeah.
seniority issue. I mean, we're not gonna solve
But
that
it's still a
problem.
performance
Yeah,
issue.
It is a performance issue, but we won't solve that in a seniority problem, because that is a, that's a task, you know, I mean, if they do
Well,
things
there are
differently in different branches.
different levels of people in libraries, for example, that are in the bargaining unit. One is considered like the very first rung of the supervisory level.
Yeah,
The other is more or less the technical person who does just about everything. But sometimes that person who's on the first rung of supervisory level, because of where they're often placed at the reference desk with other librarians, often is doing the same tasks that a reference librarian is doing. Because when the public walks up, they don't know the difference between this person and that person. You know, whether this person's a librarian or not.
right,
And the library doesn't necessarily want that worker to not take that patron's request anyway.
right.
And I'm just saying that it leads to a lot of people who are in the system but kind of, well, one, disgruntled because they have gained a certain amount of experience and knowledge, and then that's not
Right.
respected.
So I have a little bit of an idea. Okay, so if I could get maybe one paragraph for each department, just one little blip that says, here's a problem, here's a proposed solution. And maybe that would, because in the library, I'm having trouble conceptualizing
Well,
what
I was
seniority.
gonna offer with the library, how many branches are there, do you know? Pam?
There are,
There's a bunch, right? Okay, so,
8.
eight, okay, so how is an opening at a branch, filled?
Right,
So
yeah, if it's
that
branch
would be-
assignment, that would be a good, yeah, I
That
don't
would
know.
be something that comes to my mind, an easy one. Okay, you have an opening for a library and two, or whatever the classification is, in this particular branch, that might be more or less desirable for somebody wants to transfer there. Okay, so that librarian goes from this branch to that one because there's an opening. You're still down a librarian, you're still probably going to be hiring someone off the street.
Absolutely, no, there's no question, and
So-
if is that the issue? It may not solve the problem if you're still having people move around, but that's what I'm looking for. Give me the problem in each location and give me a little solution, like a blip, that you think might solve the
Okay.
problem, and then maybe we can
Just,
start.
I don't know if I can break it down to any more simpler than the concept of job assignments, shift selection, and overtime. Those are really very basic general grouping. A job assignment can be under, or this, where you work.
It's too general, and I'll tell you why, because, I'll give you an example, let me think of one, right, so,
Well, what are you thinking?
yeah.
If we, in absence of us reaching a written
Yeah,
policy for how seniority is going to apply in the libraries, let's just say we just don't get around to it,
right,
or nobody even just cares enough to, so there's an opening. Pam said, I want to move to that library.
right,
Okay. Well, then departmental seniority, library services, or whatever the name of the department is, would allow her the ability to transfer, provided she can do the work, obviously, because we don't have a written agreement at that time. Okay, and once we get a written agreement, it still very well may be based on departmental seniority for when she transfers. Now, when she goes there, it may be like, well, each library has its own little culture, okay, or seniority list there, but since she has 14 years with the county and she transferred from here to there, she's not losing her 14 years, obviously, but now she's in a new library. So it may be something that we work out, that she has a different seniority standing now that she's moved to another place. We don't
yeah.
know.
But that's what I mean, all those things are just, so that's what I mean, you can understand with, oh, it's just department seniority, that.
Unless we work out something later. So the idea
Even
of,
that concept is too broad, it's just too general, I can't
okay, in absence of a written policy, she gets a transfer because of her departmental seniority, she goes to the new house, to the new library, and there's an overtime situation. Well, since we don't have a policy that says otherwise, her departmental seniority would apply to that overtime assignment. Provided it's within her classification, it's the job that she does. This is not rocket science, this is not. This is
Yeah,
easy stuff.
Well, it's not easy from a
Maybe
library
that's simple,
director's point of view, because when Pam makes her decision that she's gonna move from library A to B, it may be that the director of library A says, she's a key player here, and she's been here for 12 years, and I don't wanna have to replace her.
Okay.
So, doesn't management have a say at that particular point? Her seniority right overrides that director's concept of how to best run that library?
See, that's why you and I will never, so the answer is no.
Because the
No,
director
no.
works for the county too.
She is a librarian working for Pasco County, and there is 8 different libraries for her to work at. If she finds one more desirable, less desirable, and there's an opening in the one that's more desirable, she should have every right in the world to go, provided she can do the job.
Well, but she
Okay,
works
because
in
if a manager wants to say, you're not going anywhere.
Exactly.
Well, see,
Exactly.
you put it in that negative context.
Because it is
Oh,
a
yeah.
negative context.
Well, you're picking that example, but that director could have a very good reason why she's a key player at that
Because it's
library.
inconvenient.
And the outcome is better public service at library A.
Okay.
That's
Okay?
why we
Not
have a
that-
union.
Not that he
That-
wouldn't
that-
And
benefit.
who
That's why we
cares?
have a union.
Thanks, right? Who cares?
No, I'm not saying that, not,
Well, yes, you are.
Pam?
By saying what you're saying, you are.
Well-
It's not, no, that's important that you want to go to, but you're not going.
Because
That's right.
then there's no
Miserable.
compensation for the person who wants to advance. Like say if I see a position that I want, and I'm just using myself as an example, but there are others in the system who've had this example. If I see a position in another branch that is, that I'm qualified for, but that is a promotion.
that's a different situation.
Should my
Promotional
own library
opportunity is
manager want to
different.
stop
I
that
understand.
if it's opportunity?
Pam, I agree with you, but promotional opportunity is a different element that gets added into that.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, let's just stick with the lateral
But
transfer.
if it's just lateral,
Well, because
Okay,
you.
'cause
It seems to me-
Suppose she doesn't like
And
it.
actually, there's been a number of,
Suppose she
I mean,
doesn't like, suppose she doesn't like the director or whatever the title is of the library she works in, she just doesn't like her.
See, we
Okay,
think they're all
okay.
unique, we don't think they're all interchangeable.
See, that's the problem.
You know,
People are
maybe
more,
they are,
more
maybe they're not, but-
interchangeable
Yeah.
than this county believes they are.
Maybe, and maybe that's the issue,
John,
I mean, and that's,
we,
you know,
remember,
it's
we
sort
had
of.
that problem in Parks and Rec about 2 years ago. Gentleman that worked on the ball fields on the east side of the county and lived on the west side of the county. A position came up at a ball field. He had 5 years' experience doing ball fields, wanted to transfer. They transferred a guy from a nature park to the ball field that had 2 months on the job, but was buddy with the guy that transferred him.
And actually, where we've seen it happen a lot is where somebody wants a lateral transfer to a branch that's closer to them. So
Right.
that they're not driving an hour or
Right, oh,
something.
absolutely.
And just never finds out or never gets the opportunity to, you know, even put in or be aware of that transfer. You know, or maybe even does interview for it, but then oddly gets told that they're not qualified for it, even if it is a position that they've already been doing. You know, it's kind of strange.
Well, yeah, but like you said, if every branch is doing it differently, then it's possible that at one branch, and I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or different, I'm just saying that if in fact every branch is running things differently, it's possible that a library tech at this branch is doing these functions and, you know, all
Yeah.
within a range, but of course, you know, they may have them specialized, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to suggest that,
Yeah.
it's just that the interchangeable nature,
Yeah.
you know, maybe some positions are more interchangeable than others. In fleet, a fire truck guy is not interchangeable with a heavy equipment guy who's interchangeable with the guy who's doing pickup truck oil changes. I mean, we know that. So it's, you know, now maybe, you know, I mean, probably there's different fleet tech 1, 2, 3, or whatever, however you're broken down like in the titles. But, you know, they're,
The
Maybe
one
we're
thing that just
seeing
occurred to me is I do know that there are people in the same positions more or less in busier branches whose job is very different
yeah.
than those who are in the same position in branches where
Right, you
you
might
know,
do
5
more.
people come in. you
Yeah,
know,
and
so-
quite frankly, that person might have to do more. I mean, in terms of a
Maybe.
complexity, less volume, but more, you know, more
And usually the
different
person-
types of
Okay,
work.
I'm sorry.
Let's circle back to where Barbara's question came up, and then we can feed it into individual problem areas. But let's focus on the positive. You made a proposal, Barbara said she's gonna look into it on a departmental level. Asked you if you wanna prioritize a list of what departments to go to first. I'm not sure you do wanna do that. I guess you're gonna start with fleet, but I don't know, is there a priority list
I just don't.
that you want looked at?
I just
We know it's
don't-
not bus, so,
We're good.
you're good.
Buses are good, we don't have to worry about buses.
But if you don't wanna, you don't
It's not
wanna,
that I don't want to, the whole concept of the proposal is that we don't have to, right now, in bargaining, figure out what we're gonna do in each department. That's the whole gist of the proposal. Hey, guys, let's not hold up this whole contract, it's gonna take us maybe 3 years to really tweak everything. get
I
it
think you
all
missed the
figured out.
point of what Barbara wants to do, and she could articulate it even better than I can, but to understand the problem, she has to go and ask the department heads.
Okay, the department
Tell them what
heads-
you've said, you know, ask them if that's
I
the
really
only
don't
unit they
think she's gonna
understand.
get any credible responses from our world by asking the department head what the seniority problems are in the department. It's laughable.
Well,
So-
I don't, yeah, I wouldn't ask what the seniority problems are, they may not view them as a seniority problem. What I would ask is, how are you dishing out overtime? How are you dishing out shifts assignments? How are you doing this? How are you doing this?
Favoritism, 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 favoritism.
Well,
My
that
answer,
probably
that's 4
won't be their
departments.
answer.
If you got more-
My guess would be they won't have, I would actually put money on that, that won't be the answer that comes
Okay,
back.
but the thing is, yeah, but that's in truth, okay, managerial discussion, managerial discussion, managerial discussion.
What do you,
Okay,
what do you
but
say
generally-
to, what do you say to the department head that you built a complex from the ground, you supervised that complex for 17 years, and when you were getting laid off, you wanted to dig a hole at that complex, and the department head said you were not qualified to do it?
Doug, ask me that question in 65 days.
He's like this speaker.
I'm supposed to be here, I'm allowed to come to the
I'll give you a
general
couple of
public.
days to relax.
So we should
I know, you
December.
are tired of hearing it, I know you are, and I apologize. But our other newly hasn't heard it yet. Everybody's gotta hear it before I go out having it, okay?
Fair enough, fair enough.
I just
We're gonna let them
know,
go dig that hole, that's
Okay.
okay.
I just know what your feedback is going to be, that status quo is just fine. And, you know, I mean, I'm just being realistic, and so,
I think that's unfair. I think that's really unfair
Hey.
to, you don't even know her.
That's right.
Okay.
Hey,
I'm
John-
very
John-
it's not her that I'm
Yeah,
talking
no.
about, it's the people she's gonna talk to.
Right.
You're-
It took-
You're,
Those people I know.
discounting her ability to find the right answer before she's even had a chance to do it.
I don't think he's doing that. John, you have a good point. It took over 2 months to get an email sent out for a grievance from the department head. 2 months. So when we're gonna ask something as complex as this to a director, they're just gonna table it.
I just,
Well, they
I
can't.
don't know, maybe,
Guess there's no point in you doing it.
no, you can do whatever research that you feel you need to do. I'm pretty certain that the response you're going to get from people you talk to is that the wheel's not broken, don't fix it, and you know, if nothing's broke. Why are we even talking about this? And that's what you're gonna get.
Well, it's not really an acceptable answer. If you perceive it's broken, then they may not. I mean, it's clearly broken on some level, right? Because not everyone is happy. We can't make everybody happy all the time, but certainly they can't, and I don't think they would. I mean, quite frankly, they may not understand, you know, that it is as big an issue for you guys as it is, at least in some departments. Maybe some departments they do and they don't wanna look at it. So we just, you know, I mean, we can look at it. Certainly we have a chain of command everywhere, you know, everybody's got a boss, right? But, you know, so let me see at least, you know, quite frankly, I might be able to go out and, you know, I mean, let's say we have 10 departments where you think it's a problem. I go talk to 5 of them and 5 of them go, hey, that's a great idea, let's do this. Well, we're halfway there.
See, I don't even know what it is we're going to do there. So the first question I would imagine a department director is gonna ask you, well, what is the union looking to do?
Right.
And so,
Yes.
your response is, well, I can't really tell you because they wanna sit down, but they can't sit down until they get their foot in the door, get the foot in the door until they get the language.
Well,
So
no,
it's
that's why I'm
kind of
asking you. You hit the nail on the head. That's what I want. I want, give me the department and give me your perceived problem. Because then I can take that to the department and I can say, they think that, you know, library, I think on here, that when the, you know, when a branch opening occurs in this, that somebody should be able to, you know, let's talk about that. It gives me an opportunity to just go to them and say, this is the perceived problem, they might go, oh, you know what, we didn't even know anybody was interested, you know, we posted, it might not be being posted in the branches of the library, maybe it's just posted in human resources. I mean, it might be such an easy fix, but we won't know until we go have the dialogue, so,
Okay.
that's what I'm asking.
All I know is that if we don't have language in the contract
I
to address this, it's not going to be addressed. So you can poll, no
Yeah.
disrespect, you can poll 100 department directors and 150 supervisors that work underneath them, and they can all say, yeah, that's a great idea, or they can say, no, it's a horrible idea. Nothing's going to change until we have the language in the contract that allows us to do this. And the way we were able to accomplish this in Hernando County, and we're going to be doing it in Citrus County, is because the people at the table that I sat with said, after saying some of the similar conversations, but they said, okay, we're going to agree to do this, and we're going to sit down. So then it's no longer an opinion poll
Right.
that the HR director is taking amongst their directors. It's more of an informative discussion.
Right.
Hey, listen, we have a contract that says that Teamsters job positions, the job assignments, the shift selection and overtime may or may not be governed by seniority. To what extent, we're not sure. But if nothing gets decided, it's all going to default to departmental seniority. So we need to sit down in the next couple of months and try and work out some procedures and policies with the Teamsters.
Right.
That's the way it's going to be, Department Director,
Right.
rather than saying, hey, how do you feel about this? Because I just,
Well, and I think, and I appreciate your comment, and I think I can do something like that without actually backing us into the corner you wanna back us into. Because of course, if we get backed into that corner, and why would we? I mean, we don't have that now. You're asking us literally to change the culture now. And you're right, that's
it's
what it
not like
would
it
be.
just happened today.
Yeah, well, no,
In
but
2010,
I'm
we
saying
started
that
this,
they're not, let me also suggest to you this. Managers, myself included, are much more likely to agree to something when we feel like we're part of the process. If you shove it down our throats, we're not gonna love it, and quite frankly, we might be even more not willing to come up with the solutions that, they're gonna be able to come up with better solutions than me. They're the ones running their departments. Let them come up with that, but let's not shove it down their throat. Let's give them the opportunity to come up with it. Yeah, I can say something like, hey, by the way, if we don't come up with this, we're gonna be stuck with something. Stuck being, whatever, however you wanna look at it, but, but let them have the first crack at it and say, look, we're gonna have a seniority policy, okay? So how do you want it structured? Let them have that
I like
opportunity.
that, I don't have a
Yeah,
problem.
but
That's the
I'm
way-
not, and I'll, and to the extent that I would say that to them, I'm also not gonna bind the organization to something that could really bite us, quite frankly. I wanna know what I'm getting the departments into.
Take a look at
So-
those policies that we've written up with Emmanuel County.
Okay.
And you'll get a flavor.
Yeah, I have this, oh, you're talking about the individual
Yeah, the
department
individual.
policies, okay, I would like to see those.
And the signatures on the
Okay.
bottom of those
Yeah.
documents are mine
Okay,
and the department director.
fantastic, I'll start with
And
this.
for whatever reason, I know HR, and these things are tweaked and revised, over the years.
Yeah,
The very first round had Cheryl Marsden's signatures on them because she was present. And as time went on, it just got to between the steward, the department director, and me.
yeah,
And the comfort level was there, and we resolved things. Nothing ever went up the ladder.
yeah, and I'm not gonna tell you we couldn't arrive at something like this, but I can't tell you that now because I don't know
I
enough about the
understand, I
department.
understand. I'm
So-
not asking you to
so-
sign off on anything today,
No, I know.
I'm just saying that the approach, now I said all I've had to say, the last comment that you made, is what we're looking for.
Okay.
Because what that implies is that there's a commitment that we're all going in the same direction with this, and to what extent, to what extreme, everybody's gonna have, some input.
Right, and what I still would like, and, because it'll help me in my discussions, is to know where the problems are, to know where you perceive the problems are. And it would obviously help
Just
to have a
assume
solution.
Just assume
but,
it's A to Z for every department that's in here.
Yeah, but that's hard. I mean, obviously, you know how it is. If I gotta go solve a problem and say, hey, there's a problem, what is it? I don't know, we just gotta look at everything. It's certainly a little bit easier, and I'm not asking for, perhaps in each little department, I'm talking about a blip. The biggest concern we have is X, here's how we'd like to solve the problem. I mean, just a little blip, and that's all. I'll certainly start on it before I get those, but that would be very helpful. So it would help me roll in the right direction. Because it might be something extremely easy. So, I mean, in the library, it might just be a branch issue.
And yeah, I just see it as being counterproductive, but we'll try and, not counterproductive, it's just,
I know,
it's not a good, use of my time, because we're gonna have to do that anyway. When we have the language, we're going to sit down and
Right.
have those discussions anyway, so why have them ahead of time, get them shot down, turned down, criticized, and then, it just doesn't make sense to me to do
yeah.
that. I just
Well,
don't-
and it's gonna be easier for me to sell it if I have something more concrete. And so,
Yeah, maybe you can use those examples.
Yeah, I will, and if you're comfortable with this, I mean, maybe I can gauge that as a starting point. I mean, it's just,
Sure.
like I said, like I said, let them have some say, and I think you'll get a better result all around.
I agree when people have input.
Yes, and so that's what I
They
don't ever
internalize
want to
and
keep
embrace
away.
things, it's just that, I'm concerned with some
Yeah.
people's opinions and their input, because if it's against what we believe in.
That is all we have, so can we schedule a meeting for, and we don't have to schedule it now, or we can schedule it now?
I'd like to schedule now,
Okay.
we've never been able to schedule them,
All
but.
right, great, let's schedule one. I do need some time to go, to the department, so we'll, maybe not.
Are we done bargaining? Should I stop the recording while we schedule? or
I think
no?
so, yeah, I
Okay.
think we're.
All right, so we're stopping at 3:40. Okay.
Dates, let me see, what calendar. Oh, it's okay. Is there a date and, are better days better than other days for you guys, or?
I can tell you what I have available, I mean, I don't know how much time you need before we start considering dates.
It's the 19th is a Monday, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you have?
I have 19 right now, but I've also offered these same dates to a couple of employers, and I may go back to my office and everybody lock them in. But I'll tell you, as of right now, right here, I have 19, 21, 22, and 23. that whole week, except for 20th, I got negotiations.
One more time, John?
19, 21, 22, and 23. But again, I may tell you, I mean, if you don't agree to one of those dates right now, I can't guarantee it's available.
I'm bargaining somewhere.
Yeah.
22 and 23 are both good.
Mondays aren't good for me.
Oh, yeah?
I'm usually not here,
22, I'm good. Did you say you had 22 or you did not have 22?
21, 22, and 23 are available.
Good the 22 and 23.
Okay, Randy, let's check it, Randy down there, 22?
Till 3:30. Give me 2 seconds.
Oh, that's perfect, that's the same as me, so that works.
You must be going to the same meeting.
I think so.
Probably not. This is coming with me to labor loft.
So can we start at 9 on the 22nd?
I'm willing to give Jim some time.
We could
to
start
get-
at 9:30.
Well, can we, is it 10 o'clock, okay? I don't think.
Well, if you gotta quit, if you guys have to be somewhere at 2.
No, 3.
Oh, 3?
Three,
Okay.
yeah, so
I
we
could
can
be
do
here
10
till
to
3:30.
3.
2, okay, all right. Whatever, 10 o'clock?
10 to 3.
If 9:30 is the earliest, let's do 9:30. Is that, we can lock that in?
Sure.
Well, that's a switch.
The 3?
That's the first time we've ever been able to nail our next bargaining date
22nd.
down at a bargaining session, so thank you.
We're gonna work through lunch?
Why don't you buy it?
No, wait, I was gonna see that, they're buying lunch.
Yeah.
And you don't deduct us 30 minutes.
No, I think it worked out good, the way that, I'm gonna try and have the wage, that thing figured out at least. I'll try to get with a couple departments, if you could let me know. And here's my, so I go to fleet, and I talk to the fleet director, and I say, hey, we're talking about seniority, blah, blah, blah. He says to me,
Get out of here with your union talk.
no, what he's gonna say is, he's gonna say, well, like what? And I'm gonna say, oh, shift, and we don't have shift. Okay, overtime, we already do that.
Well, listen, we don't have shifts, I'll just interrupt you.
Yeah.
But there may be some point in time that there are shifts, and if there are ever different shifts to choose from. If there are ever.
We have 2 shifts.
You do.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then, how do I, you don't see what I'm saying, I mean, oil changes, I don't know how to, that's
Job
why,
assignment.
that's kind of the little, just simple thing that I want, just to know, job sites, i.e., oil changes versus, just something, so that I'm not an idiot when I go out to the people and say, hey.
Well, what I'm thinking is that.
I'm with you.
Thank you, thank you, Doug.
Pick up where you,
I'd love to go talk to the people who bought the rec.
pick up
Keep
where
them away
you,
from Parks and Rec.
you're meeting with the fleet director and you say, hey, the union is really getting serious about this, having seniority affect, some of the work conditions. And then the director says, well, what do you mean? And say, well, the 3 topics that they're talking about,
Okay, fair enough.
are job assignments, shift selections, and overtime. And he says, well, what do you got in mind? He says, well, that's why I'm here to talk to you, to find out, if everybody's on one shift, and there was, you switched from, let's just say you want to have 410s, because, the days of the week is also a shift. If you wanted to have some 410s that went from Monday to Thursday, and some from Tuesday to Friday, if you wanted a mixture of 5 days and 410s, that the employees would be able to bid on those shifts in seniority order, provided work is covered. That's an example.
Okay,
And then I think that's going to open up the door for some discussion with, and overtime. What do you mean overtime? We never have overtime here. Well, then I guess it wouldn't be a problem if overtime was doled out in seniority order, would it? Well,
All right.
it's irrelevant. So.
okay, I'll start. I know you gotta go, you gotta flight, so.
Every good meeting has a beginning, a middle, and an end.